John Maxwell Certified Leadership Coach. Welcome to Life, Love, and Leadership, where we discuss everything pertaining to life, love, and leadership. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to Life, Love, and Leadership by The Real Leadership Company. I'm Tom Ray. Today is a beautiful but rainy day. As I look out my window, I see the buds appearing on the tips of the tree limbs and bushes, and it just gives me encouragement that we are in the season of spring and that new life is coming. And that gives us hope for tomorrow, and that perhaps tomorrow is going to be beautiful. I like to kick off every show with an attitude of gratitude, and today I'm thankful for my motor skills and my five senses. You know, those touch, sight, hearing, smell, and taste, right? I think that a lot of us maybe took them for granted prior to COVID. But I don't know about you, but I got COVID and I had lost my sense of smell and taste for a few weeks, and I did not like it at all. There's probably a message that could be taught out of that experience, because when I was eating, I was imagining what that item tastes like based on what I remembered it tasting like, which was very difficult. I guess you could say I was eating by memory rather than by taste. But anyway, I'm thankful for my five senses. And what about you? What are you thankful for today? I would really like to know. Send me an email at tom@realleadershipcompany.com. tom@realleadershipcompany.com. I've got a short podcast for you today, but before I begin, I'd encourage you to please subscribe to this podcast and share it with others. Let them know what you are experiencing on this podcast. And if you have any tips or information that could be of a blessing and help to this podcast, let me know at tom@realleadershipcompany.com. After all, I'm here to be a blessing and a help to you. So today, I'm talking about the professional inside. The professional inside. What am I talking about? Well, a couple of years ago, I had this awareness that there was some kind of professional inside. And I'm saying that with quotes, air quotes, right? And I wish I was talking about the educational professional inside, but unfortunately, I'm talking about the one who has multiple certificates hanging on the walls of my mind. Did you get that? Now, I know about street smarts, the school of hard knocks, and lessons learned after one applies his hand to the top of a hot stove. Ouch. Educated, right? But what I'm talking about is this self-titled professional that appears in the moments of rational thinking. I'm talking about the professional doctor, dentist, attorney, mechanic, etc. that shows up all throughout our day to justify or diagnose our problem or our symptom in a particular situation. I am not referring to the scam artist that appears to be something in public, meanwhile misdiagnosing people and ripping them off. But there's a story tied to this. In the Bible, there's a story of this woman who had an issue of blood, and she spent all of her money on doctors but found no cure. And I wonder if she had come across a few doctors that saw an opportunity to take advantage of her in her desperate situation by putting her through test after test, knowing all along that they had no idea how to treat her. But what I'm referring to is the professional inside that tries to or attempts to diagnose or offer advice about something we have no education or training in. Now, this could come back to bite me in the butt, right? Because I have said things, convictions that I stand on and believe that we all do from time to time, that things that we believe in and we really have no facts to back it up, right? But here's an example, all right? You're tired and you want to go to bed. You know you must first brush your teeth before you do. And you access your inner dentist. And he or she says, it won't hurt if you miss one night of not brushing. And while that is probably true, we don't know that for certain, right? But we decide to trust the dentist within and go and slip under the covers, lay our head on the pillow, and drift off to sleep. But here's another. We take out the garbage from the kitchen and take it out to the road for trash day. And on our way back, we access our inner hygienist to offer the advice to, just run some water over your fingers. It wasn't really that dirty. And we turn on the water, rinse, dry, and head on our way, right? Sure, it might be perfectly fine in that particular situation or in that particular instance, but we truly don't know. But we're willing to risk it anyway, right? By the way, my nephew came up with a phrase that says, risk it for the biscuit, go for the gold. That was a bonus. I just threw it in. Thanks, Noah. So why do we do that? Why do we risk taking a chance on consulting the professional within that has no degrees, that doesn't really know all the answers? So why do we do that? Does it mean that our desire to move on to something else is more important? What is going on in our minds? What is at the core of our thinking to make us act contrary to what we know we should do? You and I both know that we should wash our hands after taking out the garbage or using the bathroom or shaking hands with hundreds of people and an exhaustive list of other things before we move on about our day. Back in 2020, our world was on a lockdown due to the 2020 COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. And everyone was learning about proper hygiene, whether they wanted to know it or not. And our emojis changed on text messages to be safe and emojis of hand washing and a little face with a mask on it, right? And, it's funny, back during that time, my pastor, he referenced the scripture in the Bible that said Jesus told his disciples to watch and pray. And while preaching, my pastor told us to wash and spray. Wash your hands and spray with Lysol. He was being funny, but what an interesting scenario, right? So the expression, what you don't know can't hurt you. I'm here to tell you that's a big fat lie. It's just not true. But too often we take that check right to the bank and cash it, right? All the while giving more validity to our professional inside. Now, too many people have taken their own advice and wound up in the hospital or much worse. And you've probably heard the expression, use common sense, right? Well, I'm here to tell you another fact. Common sense is not really all that common. And here's a quick little story to explain, okay? So I tell this story just about everywhere I go. But one day, little Johnny is playing out in the street, and Mom yells, "Hey, Johnny, get out of the street." And Johnny runs into the house. And the next day, Johnny's playing in the street again. And Mommy says, "Johnny, get out of the street." And Johnny runs into the house. And the next day, Johnny's playing in the street. And Mommy says, "Johnny, get out of the street." And Johnny says, "Mommy, what's the street?" I've given you pause there to laugh a little bit. But here's the idea. Johnny's mom assumed that Johnny knew what the street was. And too often we assume that someone, including ourselves, our inner professional, has common sense. By the way, look up the definition of assume in the Urban Dictionary. However, common sense is simply not that common. So what do we do about these unlicensed professionals inside of us? Obviously, getting them educated is ideal, but it's just not realistic, is it? We don't have the time nor the money to invest. Instead, we need to listen to our knower inside and do what we know we're supposed to do. to wash our hands after, well, just about everything, right? To brush our teeth before bed, and for our kids to do their homework before they play. And sure, the world probably won't end tomorrow if we don't do those things, but what if it did? Well, then I guess it wouldn't matter at all, would it? But Mom would say, do you remember this? Mom would say, be sure to wear a clean pair of underwear, just in case you get in a car accident. Well, that might sound like good advice because you don't want the paramedics to see the racing stripes in your tighty-whities, right? But however, I remember when I was hit by a car when I was around 7 years old or so. I was crossing the street on my bike, and I remember noticing the car approaching me, but it looked like a slanted camera angle shot that you would see on an episode of The Twilight Zone. It was just weird looking to my peripheral vision. Anyway, the car hit me, and I flew several feet, I think some 10 or 20 feet in the air, and landed on the street. As it turned out, my bike was totaled. But thank God I was okay, except for the fact that I was walking like John Wayne in an old Western movie because my underwear was full. The car's impact had knocked the crap right out of me. So much for clean underwear, Mom. So many times we access the quote-unquote professional within when we need to instead connect with the knower within. The one that says, this is what you're supposed to do. And this comes with our personal development, right? And doing things the way we know we should do. And it's important to probably consider having a coach. And that's what I do. I coach. And why did I bring that up? I brought it up for this reason. John Maxwell says one of the hardest people for us to lead is ourselves. And so too often we can say, okay, I have this regiment that I'm going to stick to, or I have a plan that I'm going to stick to. And chances are when the moments get tough, we're going to listen to that unlicensed professional within us and do what that unlicensed professional says instead of listening to our knower. And so that's when having a coach will help to hold us accountable to those goals, to that regiment that we're so desiring to do. And so if you want to achieve your goals and dreams, if you want to grow personally, if you want to grow in your marriage or your ministry or your business, let's say your business is hit a plateau and you're stuck in your business, that's what we do. We help folks that are stuck get unstuck, and we get you growing again. The tagline I've been using lately for the Real Leadership Company is ready, set, grow. All right. And so if you're ready to get growing, then give us a call. Contact us and let us be a help to you. And our first coaching session is absolutely free. So you can get to try this out and see if it's a good fit for you. And if it's not, hey, no problem. There's no obligation to you, but there's a great opportunity for you to perhaps get some sound coaching that will help you if you desire to grow to the next level. Well, I guess that's going to do it for this episode of Life, Love, and Leadership. And again, I encourage you to click on that subscribe button. Please share this information with others. And if you have something that you're thankful for, let me know. And or a comment for Life, Love, and Leadership, please send me some information or your questions at tom@realleadershipcompany.com. tom@realleadershipcompany.com. Well, it's been a pleasure being with you today, and thank you for joining me on Life, Love, and Leadership.